The Frames Per Second podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Frames Per Second podcast. I'm your host for the evening. My name is Mike. With me, I have Ken. Ken's drinking something that he has.
What up,
Spike?
What up, though?
And we got Rod.
Yo, what up, man?
And we are going to be covering Beetlejuice, the sequel to the classic Beetlejuice. And I'm going to start with Spike, since he is sort of a Beetlejuice novice, I guess. Spike, what did you think of this?
I like this one better than the first one.
Damn.
It wasn't bad. Like is a certain like tone that these movies have that you just have to get used to, that I was trying to fight watching the first one and even a little bit into this one. Once I submitted, I was like, okay, just let them have it. Fuck it. Like the stepmother, how she was talking throughout the movie, but it was fine. I didn't hate it. I liked it a lot more than the second one. It was enjoyable. There was some funny moments. Great acting by Michael Keaton again. So yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I thought I was gonna like it a lot less. I won't lie.
Damn. All right, Rod, what did you think?
I'm kind of with him a little bit, actually.
That you like it more
I think I would. I think I do a little bit. I think I do like it a little bit more than the original, man. And I'll get into the reasons why. It's kind of like how I feel about Star Wars, some Star Wars stuff. Like, because the technology is more advanced and story is different, a little bit different now. Like, I think those are the reasons why. I feel like the first one was a little bit more one-dimensional than this one. And I'll get into that take as we get into the review. But no, it was good though. With that being said, I thought it was good. There were some things that I like better about the first one than this one, but there's still, I think there's enough to make me feel like I like this one a little bit better, actually.
Ken?
Well, I'm not with you two on that. I don't like it better than the first one. But I thought this was fine. I think it had the Beetlejuice notes in it. It took a minute to kind of get into the movie. I thought the first half, the setup was a little bit slow. But I felt like once they got into it and Michael Keaton got a chance to get on here and we got a chance to see Beetlejuice, it kind of started to move a little bit better. But so overall, I mean, yeah, I thought it was fine. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I definitely had a good time with this. I vehemently disagree with y'all that it's better than the first one. I think this one had a lot of problems. It had a lot of problems that we will get into, but my main thing is it was a little bit too all over the place for me to walk away and say, oh, I think I enjoyed this one more. This one, it seemed like they didn't know where they wanted to go or how they wanted to end this, and that was my issue. But if I just sat down and said, I'm just going to step into Tim Burton's world, I had a great time. I was laughing out loud in the theater. It was a good time. But yeah, no, I still love the first one. This one, I thought was okay. But it starts off with Lydia on her reality show called Ghost House. And we see that she's still having visions of Beetlejuice. What did you think of how this whole thing started, Spike?
I thought it was an interesting way to start telling the story. It intrigued me. It made me wonder, okay, how are they going to do this? I liked the maturation of the character from the last movie to this one, and the whole realm that she's in now. Could immediately tell that the producer dude was a villain just by how his hair looked. But I did like the way that they introduced the story. He had villain hair. He definitely had villain hair.
The baby ponytail.
Yeah, that little thing. He's a bad guy. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but he's definitely a bad guy.
Ken? What do you think? How
It was an interesting way to start. You know, I didn't have a lot of background going into the movie outside of I remember like you were saying Michael Keaton was going to be in it, and so when it opened, I was like, dang, is Lydia going to be in it? And if so, how are they going to do this because she's older now? And so I was curious about that. So then opening with her kind of becoming a celeb off of that experience made sense, especially given where we are kind of now. You know, those ghost type shows were popular as well. So going from the 80s to now, I could see her transitioning into something like that.
What about you, Rod?
No, I was definitely so when we did Beetlejuice, I was going purely based off of memory and just because I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I had seen the movie so many times that once y'all was refreshing in my memory, I was able to review it. But then I went ahead and watched it before watching this one, and I wanted to go ahead and just see how I felt when I watched it again. And I wasn't as excited as I was back in the day when I rewatched it. I will say that. So going into this one, it was cool to see the nostalgia of the opening scene going over the town and things like that. So that was really cool to see. And then like I like the angle they went with the ghost house thing with Lydia. I think the only missed opportunity here for me was not having the original ghost of the house. I really thought they were gonna be part of why she's successful, and that they were actually doing the paranormal activity and things like that, or whatever, to get her to the success or whatever. When they went in, I thought that was definitely a missed opportunity. And that would probably be my first gripe with this movie.
So I was actually okay with them not being in it. I was actually okay with the explanation that they gave for them not being in it. I was only surprised up until I saw what Tim Burton said, which is what I saw before the movie. But he said that they would have to put so much technology into de-aging them that it just wasn't worth it, really, because he's like, ghosts don't age, and clearly Alec Baldwin has aged. You know, I haven't seen Gina Davis, but I'm sure she's still a pretty woman. But I don't think it was worth
it. She aged too. you didn't see Blink twice, huh?
Why you
didn't see Blink twice? I'll just say no, she did. I know she did.
Yeah, I gotta look her up.
Well,
but you saw her. Oh no, you didn't see her, but she was in Blink twice.
I still haven't seen that. I was actually gonna try to go see it today if I get some time, but I haven't seen it yet. She's in that? Interesting. Gina Davis?
Mm-hmm. Huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's her. Don't let me get my white women mixed up, but I think that's her. That's her, right, Ken?
I'll look and see.
Yeah, well, I thought that was her. Already, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I thought that was her, isn't it? Let me make sure I didn't get my white women mixed up. Yeah, that's her, Gina Davis. Yep,
that's her, Stacy.
Yeah, that's her.
If I get time, I'm gonna go check it out today. Either that or that new Brandy movie. But I have no desire to see it.
Yeah. So you gonna go to the movies to see that?
I might. Because my girl's out of town. I ain't got nothing else to do today. I'm gonna go check out some record store, but I might go swing by the.
It seems like it could be funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny and good or whack as hell. Right. So we'll see. But yeah, Spike already said what he thought about Rory, which is Lydia's boyfriend. Rod, what did you think about Rory when you saw him?
Yeah, he looked like a villain. I mean, they definitely made him out to be like he was up to no good or whatnot. So I just didn't know the actual angle, but yeah, we definitely knew that he was up to no good.
You thought the same thing, Ken?
Yeah, he was because I thought Justin Theroux, when I saw his name, in the opening credits, I was like, oh, that's weird. Who's he gonna play? I thought that was an interesting choice, and his acting was a little bit weird. Him playing this kind of eccentric, sort of managerial character.
Right.
So it took me a minute to get used to that because I don't think I've ever seen him in anything acting like that before. But yeah, he definitely was off. throughout the whole movie. None of it, the shit he was doing was making any sense.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily peg him as a villain. I just thought he was just like, I knew something was up. I just thought he was like real wimpy. But yeah, him being revealed as a villain wasn't much of a surprise. But yeah, so Lydia gets a text from Delilah, who is Catherine, what's her last? O'Hara? I forget her name. The white lady from the first one.
Yep, that's it.
The stepmom. And we find out that her dad, Charles, has died. Spike, what did you think of how they showed him dying?
It was good. I feel like it saved them money. They didn't have to do an actual plane crash, so they do the animation and you still get to see it. I thought it was really good. I think her description of him dying as well, when she said he left me, and she's like, "How could you think such a thing?"
Right.
I think she did a great job. The stepmom did a great job. She carried this movie. But yeah, I think that was really good.
It was an interesting. Oh, my bad.
Either one, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to go.
Go ahead,
I thought it was an interesting. I thought it was an interesting choice because I didn't know he died. So when I saw them doing the animation, I was like, "Oh, I like that. That's kind of clever." And then I didn't get confirmation he died until after the movie. But then I was like, "Damn, is he dead?" But for them to bite his whole head off and then have him go through that in the whole movie, I was like, "Wow, that's a lot." But yeah, and then I was thinking about, like, of course, my mind went elsewhere. I'm like, well, shit, I wonder who they could do animation for with other people and kind of get away with it as a way to do that. But yeah, I thought it was cool to kind of show him still there and explain what happened to him.
No, is he still? So is he in fact dead?
No,
he's not dead.
No, I'm now realizing that I'm the only one that actually knows what's going on here. But Rod, go ahead before I speak.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was dead or not. I was just like, it does make you assume that maybe he's not living anymore, and they use this to depict him in the movie. But I wasn't sure, and I meant to look it up. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Oh, so yeah. But I thought it was cool that they used the claymation here, just giving kind of that old nostalgic feel of the old movie to tell this story in particular. So yeah, no, I thought it was cool how they depicted that.
So Jeffrey Jones is the actor's name. He literally had a weird case, and that's why he's not around.
Okay, gotcha.
Like,
so he is dead.
No, he's alive.
No, I get you. I was making a joke.
I was running with the joke, but it didn't really land. I should just let you have the joke. They're trying to build on it, but nah, he was caught with CP and he pled guilty. So it's not a funny thing, but it's wild because in the original Beetlejuice was kind of a pervert and a little bit of a pedo because Lydia was like 12, and then this dude in real life was doing that shit. So
4K. What the kids say?
Huh?
In 4K. That's what the kids say.
In 4K, dude. Yes. So I thought it was funny how they did it with claymation. I thought it was funny how the shark bit his head off. Yeah, I liked it. I knew he wasn't going to be in it. I just didn't know that this is what they were going to do. I figured they were going to act like he just died off camera somewhere and it happened a long time ago. But the fact that they went this route, I thought was pretty funny. Mm-hmm. But Ken, what did you think of the introduction of Dolores?
I thought it was cool, and I needed to know who, because Dolores was the daughter, right?
No, Dolores was
shit.
Yeah,
Dolores, Beetlejuice's wife.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I recognized the voice. I was like, I know that voice anywhere. Danny DeVito, kind of walking into it.
Oh, that person, yeah.
Yeah, when he was doing the thing. The second thing, I was like, well, they have electricity in the afterlife to get her to come back to life. So I thought that was weird. I'm asking too many questions about a movie about ghosts walking around. But
you actually going to the light? How do you think there's light there?
Yes, I was like, okay, that's weird. He just doing his thing and electrocuted, but it was pretty cool, man. I like how they did that, showing her like put herself back together and stapling herself. Because I was watching every part. I was wondering if they were gonna show her staple every single thing, so even down to the finger and stuff. So, or if they were just gonna skip over and just kind of show her just fully put together. But I like the fact that they show her assembling herself throughout the whole thing. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a little bit confusing, this part, especially when they explained who she was. But I guess we'll get into that. But yeah, it was cool.
Do you like this part, Spike?
Yeah, I think Danny DeVito did a good job being a drunk off what plumbing liquid or something that was, and just heard the whole thing with her leg and how she was putting her fingers and stuff back together. I think they nailed this.
You agree with that, Rod?
Yeah, I did like the introduction of Danny DeVito. I know we're talking about Dolores, but I did like the lead up to Dolores with Danny DeVito, especially since he was an original Batman with Michael Keaton and things like that. So I thought that was a cool little ode to people that kind of know that. That's the Penguin. He played the Penguin or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, and then when she came, I thought it was really dope. Obviously, I wish they would have did more with her, but it was dope introduction. And I feel like they kind of raised the stakes with her versus the original movie, like adding another like kind of antagonist to the story. So I was really excited about that. I was like, okay, they're really expounding on this Beetlejuice story. So I was really looking forward to see how that played out.
Yeah, I liked her too. I liked the whole stapling herself back together. She was like a weird version of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, which is probably my favorite Tim Burton film. So I thought that was cool. But I think I might have had that special needs person that Ken talked about a couple weeks ago. I think he was in my theater this time because it was this dude in front of me that was having a conversation the whole time. And when I saw his, I almost told him to be quiet until I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, maybe let me leave him alone." But when this dude showed up, he just goes, "Danny DeVito," real loud, and I was like, "Why?" He was having a conversation with the screen the whole film, and I was like, "I hate you so much right now." But
I had a bad theater experience too.
So,
no, really?
Yeah. People brought their kids. It was like a group. I don't know if it was a party or whatever it may be, and the kids was just not interested at all. They were going to get popcorn in the middle of it, just standing up talking, arguing about the popcorn. It was atrocious.
Yeah, and it was talking the whole movie. She was just talking right next to her friend, just explaining parts about the first movie. It was terrible, and I could hear it the whole time.
Well, after this, what did y'all think of the introduction of Astrid? Now, this is the daughter, Ken. So, what did you think of her?
I was wondering who the young person was going to be in the movie. But now that I think about it, how would that have connected to Beetlejuice? But I knew Lydia had to be replaced with a younger person because that was the one in the main movie in the first movie. So it was good seeing golly, I forgot her name.
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. Seeing her get more roles and seeing her on screen. Yeah, I thought she was good though. I liked her role in there.
Do you like her, Spike?
She's a bit of an asshole, but she did a good job playing the role. She did a really good job playing the role. I didn't like the character, but the actor did a good job.
But it made sense though, right?
It did. They needed it for like just to base it off the first one, but
yeah.
And I liked her. We'll get to it.
Rod, what do you think?
I thought she was a perfect cast for it. I think she has that series Friday or whatever. I think that's the same girl, if I'm not mistaken. Wednesday. Why I say Wednesday. Yeah, I thought she was a good casting for her daughter or whatnot. So yeah, I liked her introduction. I think she has a like star power, like a charisma on camera that is just like natural. So yeah, I really liked her introduction.
I agree 100%. I think she was a perfect cast.
Mhm.
She was a bit of an asshole, but I do agree with Ken. It kind of made sense that she'd be an asshole. But yeah, when they introduce her, she's basically she's in school. She doesn't really have a relationship with Lydia. The only thing I can really take from it is she doesn't like all of this reality TV ghost hunting shit. And it seems like she's upset because Lydia can see all of these ghosts but can't see her dead father. But I gotta throw in, I loved it when Delia showed up outside the room and was yelling up and she said, I lost my horny handyman. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
I was cracking up. But so yeah, so Spike, what do you think of how we're introduced to Beetlejuice? Was it good for you to see him again, even though you kind of just saw him for the first time a few weeks ago?
Yes, it was fun. I was wondering how he would come to play in this, and it took a long time in the first one, as I mentioned, for them to finally bring him on screen. So I was glad they got to it quicker. I thought him running the call center, and you could like vaguely in the background hearing the complaints of the homeowners where he had promised to get the ghosts out. I thought that was really good to show him still being a scammer. But yeah, Beetlejuice bodied the whole movie. Like, all of his
To your points, Spike, when I went back and watched, and I feel like that's why I'm edging this one over the older one. It did take a long time for Beetlejuice to come on screen, and when I just don't remember it that way. I guess because he was such a big character back in the day, I felt like he was on screen a lot longer in that original movie, and I think that was like a downside when I did the rewatch. So I was happy that he came in a little earlier on this one as a reintroduction. Uh, and I think it's interesting how they can make him look basically the same. You know what I'm saying? Because the makeup was so good. I was like, dang, like they could really. It's kind of like Freddy Krueger in a sense. Like he's gonna always look like Freddy Krueger. So same thing with Beetlejuice. You can get away with having him look like Beetlejuice. Only thing is now he's a lot slower. That's the thing that I picked up on. Like how he was like super energetic in the other one. This one he's moving a lot slower. He's talking a lot slower. He's still very mumble. You can't really understand him in moments. But it did stand out that he was a lot slower moving in this one.
I agree with that, Rod. Like when he, because it took me a minute to kind of get into like, because I remember the more energetic, super duper crazy one, and it was just like he felt early in the beginning a bit toned down, but I think slower is probably a more accurate description of it because he, of course, he's not moving the same. So, so yeah, I but it
like
was
Denzel and Martin though.
Yeah. So, but I was curious to see, like, and I think they did, kind of also explaining the visions, I think, of how and why she was Lydia was seeing him. So I don't think they wasted time with that explanation either, and got that out the way.
Yeah. I agree with y'all. I was happy to see him on screen quick, but to y'all's point, yeah, in the original film, it's always been talked about that he's only in the movie for 14 minutes.
Yeah,
that's it.
But he made a lot of impact in that 14 minutes. He did. He absolutely made a lot of impact.
Is that the official run?
Yeah, it's like 14 minutes and something seconds that he's in the film.
And that's something to be said too.
Yeah. It is something to be said about Michael Keaton, his impact as an actor at that time. He just fucking nailed that character. But I've never had a big problem with it because I was attached to the Maitlands and then I was attached to the Dietz. So it just worked. But yeah, they show him pretty quickly in this one. He's running a call center. I think his job is, and maybe I misunderstood, but I thought his job was he was haunting houses to get the people that were living there out. Wasn't that his job?
Something like that. He was still like
I thought he was getting the ghost out.
Huh?
Maybe I misunderstood it then. I don't remember. Either way,
like he was a call center that wasn't. They weren't getting the job done. Like people were calling, complaining. Right. Yeah. That they like, hey, I still got this guy in my house. I still got this ghost in my house. He's not gone yet. So he was running an operation. Yeah.
He wasn't getting ghosts out. Remember, Spike? He said, I will possess the wife and then kill the husband or something like that. So he was trying to scare like living people out of there. I think that's what was happening. But either way, I love.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah. You're right.
But yeah, so in the next scene, we see Beetlejuice is called into the office. of Wolf Jackson, played by Willem Dafoe, who I did not know was in this. But Ken, what did you think of his character?
I liked him. It was good seeing William Dafoe in here. I didn't know he was in it either until I saw him on the opening credits. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, who is he gonna play? And I felt he had a pretty good role in here to kind of carry it on. I think he did a good job with some of his comedic timing and on some of the scenes. So, and I thought it was a really good casting choice too to pick him.
You agree with that,
I would have
Rod?
rather, not necessarily. I think I would have rather him in a villain role than the role that he was in. Personally, I feel like he would have been more effective as a villain than the one he put him in, because he came off a little hokey in this one. Keep it. What he said, keep it real, or something like that.
Yeah,
was his tagline. But he was cool. He was okay. William Dafoe is always going to put on the performance. I mean, we know that by now. But I just I just felt like still was kind of missing with his character. I don't feel like he was utilized in the best way possible.
You agree with that, Spike?
I was really excited when I seen his name in the credits because I wondered what they were going to do with him. I think he bodied it. This was my second favorite character behind them all. I think he was doing a really good job with the lines and really like being an actor, but a cop. I love when they were reading. He had the little cards behind him when he was giving his speech. Like all of that was great. I think he did a great job.
I'm actually with Rod on this one. I don't think. I think he did a great job. I agree with Spike on that part. I don't think he was utilized very well. I don't think he even needed to be in the film at all. Like how you put Willem Dafoe, one of the greatest actors we have, you throw him in this role and he doesn't really do anything. So, so I'm kind of in between y'all on that one. But all right. So what is y'all?
My bad.
Tell him about it, Dom. Tell him about it. What did y'all think about the story of how Beetlejuice and Dolores got together and how their relationship played out? Did y'all feel that?
I liked him getting tricked. I liked him getting tricked because he's the trickster.
Okay,
so I did it. I appreciate that.
Okay, Spike.
I don't know if I liked it as much. I don't know. It felt kind of abrupt. It felt like it was going to be a bigger story than what it actually was. So yeah, that's why I said like she had potential to be a really good villain and character, but I don't know. That felt kind of flat for me, honestly.
Yeah, that was I didn't like the Dolores storyline. It didn't need to be there. She was like this underlying threat for him, but you know, she didn't really do shit. I did like the soul sucker line. I thought that shit was funny. I thought that was funny, but that is Beetlejuice, right?
Yeah.
But nah, man, it felt very MacGuffin-ish. It was just like you guys just threw this in here for nothing.
Yeah, it was MacGuffin. Like it was like I said, when I saw her introduction was badass. You know what I'm saying? So they should have really did more with her. It really was a letdown. Yeah, and I guess I'm talking my way out of this being better than the first one, but we'll see. But
yeah, I'm with y'all. I liked the story of how they got together and how Beetlejuice figured out she was a soul sucker and chopped her up. I liked that, but this is one of my gripes with the film. She was fucking useless. Like y'all put her in here and made her this underlying threat, and then you did nothing with her. Now I think there is a reason which we'll get to at the end, but am I the only one that knows who this actress is?
I wasn't able to identify her.
I don't know who she is.
She's Tim Burton's wife.
Oh wow.
So I kind of feel like he just kind of shoehorned her into this film. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because she did not need to be here at all. She didn't really do anything. They made her, like Rod said, her introduction was dope, but then they just dropped her on the ground and did nothing with her. So I was like, why did y'all do that? That's weird. But anyway, yeah. What did y'all think when Rory proposed to? I guess we don't really need to get deep into that, but Rory proposed to Lydia at the funeral. Was that kind of a surprise at all?
So cringe. It was cringe. I felt embarrassed for him. I was like, bro. Like, it was good movie making though, because I definitely felt the secondhand embarrassment.
Damn.
I mean, I feel you on that, but this was another part of the story I didn't really care too much for. But I think it definitely set it up. He was up to no good. I think it firmly established that at this point. I was like, okay, that's weird. That is off. And, you know, maybe they were also using that as another way to drive Astrid away from her mom to seek, you know, comfort elsewhere. So, you know, maybe it was a bit of a plot device, you could say, but overall, I was just like, who is this guy? Why is this guy here? What is the significance of this guy? I don't get it. But yeah, it was annoying.
Damn. Yeah. Did you agree with that, Rod, or are you just like whatever with him?
He was okay. I wasn't too annoyed with him. I felt the purpose of him probably more so than anyone. You know, yeah, I felt him a little bit more than any of the other antagonists in the story.
Yeah. I thought yes, this scene was cringe, but of course that was kind of the point, and I actually thought it was pretty fun. It was it's so stupid that he proposes to her at the funeral. Like, what are you
right.
doing? This is some
right.
Tim Burton shit. But
and I like the fact that the mother called his ass out on it. Like, what are you doing? Like,
right,
you know
right. She said what all of us were thinking. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Right.
But Astrid bugs out. She escapes. She runs into a tree, and she meets Jeremy, who's this kid that's up in a treehouse. Were you skeptical of him when you first saw him, or were you like, oh, this is cute? There's so much alike, Spike?
That was exactly me, the latter part. I was unsuspecting of the plot twist that was to come. I was like, okay, they got her a cool little friend in here. Until they did the actual reveal on screen, I was not aware. I know, thinking back, there were clues.
Yeah.
But when they did the actual reveal, it's like, oh, when they were telling the story. The biggest clue that I seen when we walked through and the parents never showed their faces, I was like, oh, something's up right there. But I never suspected what they revealed was. So I like the character. I think they could have did more with that versus, like you said, maybe the Beetlejuice ex-wife or something of that nature. But I did like that plot twist in him.
Yeah, it was weird for them to build all of these characters up to really not have them do nothing. Like, I was really confused by that. Like, we should have just kept it a situation where he could really help instead of just making him another useless villain. Like, I don't know that I don't understand why they took that route. I just don't. But yeah, I would have liked the little love connection between them, you know, type of situation. But yeah, that's not the way they went. And you know, like you said, they did give us like kind of little clues here that something was up. But yeah, I did like it though. At first.
Ken?
Yeah, I like Rory. Because when she was riding the bike, I thought she was gonna die. I thought Ashley was gonna die. You know, because there was a death in the first one. So I was like, oh. And then when she ran into the tree and then he was there, it was a good way that they set up this whole like romantic interest between the two. But I'm not gonna lie, when he was talking about, I'm sitting here reading Crime and Punishment, I was like, who the hell read Crime and Punishment in 2024? These kids, Mike, I don't know, bro. Like in 2024, that seems a little bit odd to me. But
yeah, it is odd, which is why I think that's why I'm with Spike. He got me. I thought he was just another little quirky kid that was going to be Lydia's love interest. Not Lydia, Astrid's love interest. At no point did I think he was dead. I did think something was up because I did notice that they didn't show the family's face. But I thought, oh, this is just Tim Burton being weird. I never thought they were dead. But yeah, when he said that he's reading Dostoevsky, I was like, okay, yeah, they're just making it to where they can connect over this super obscure ass author not super obscure, but obscure
Yeah,
for people
yeah.
that age, you know. So yeah, I liked him. But yeah, I was extremely surprised at the reveal later on.
Yeah, to be clear, yeah, no, I wasn't aware, but I did question why the hell he's reading this damn book. Now I get the quirkiness part and trying to use that to connect these two.
Yeah.
Because they later on established that she was kind of well read and knew all these weird people as well, so it kind of matched. But that was like, what's that's weird? Who the fuck? Because I be talking to these kids, they don't like. I don't even know if literature is a big thing like that in schools anymore. But I'm sure Reddit to correct me.
No, I think you're right. Most kids that are their age are not reading Dostoevsky in 2024 or in 2004 or in 1994. It's just not something that I think people their age read. But so yes, this is when we get to the shits. When talking about Beetlejuice, Rory decides to say the name 3 times just to prove that this isn't real to Lydia. And they immediately go into the afterlife, and this is where we see Beetlejuice as a therapist. Rod, what did you think of this scene?
I did think it was funny the way. That's why I said I like the ponytail dude. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, what? Beetlejuice. Like he just said it so just fast or whatever. Like he wastes no time. Whereas, you know, they kept messing with it in the first film. They like, you know, oh, don't say that. Now he was just like, nah, I'm gonna say it just like that, and then boom, they were there. But no, I thought this was a really good introduction to him, like a real introduction to Beetlejuice in this way as a therapist. No, I like this. I like this. I can't remember like some of the standout lines he had. I'm sure y'all can. Yeah, he had a few standout lines in this therapist session. Oh, then he did the baby or something like
the
that.
Beetlejuice baby.
This was the baby. Oh yeah, that was crazy.
That was the one for me. I was like, this motherfucker is crazy. When he made her pregnant and she gave birth to a Beetlejuice baby, and then the Beetlejuice baby started eating her leg. I was in that theater cracking the fuck up.
Oh man.
Him gnawing on her leg was hilarious, man.
Oh, he said he's a legs man, just like his daddy or something.
Just like his daddy. Like his old man.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, the therapist scene was good. It was fun. It was fun seeing them add additional like layers to him, little small subtle things. Like he was speaking Spanish in the movie.
What was that about?
Oh, it was Italian, and it was you talking about.
Oh, it was Italian.
Yeah, when he was telling.
Well,
because Italian and Spanish are very, very similar.
Huh.
Like they share a lot of the same dialect. We talking about when he was telling the story of him meeting Dolores.
Yeah.
That was Italian. It was supposed to be like an old Italian film.
Jeez,
Yeah,
that was stupid. Okay, I know I did like it, but yeah. Now you explaining it makes it even better.
Yeah,
I like the therapies. I like how that guy didn't believe it. The little ponytail didn't believe it. He's like, it's not real. It's not real. It's not real. I thought that was really dope.
But you know that people would, and it seemed real because somebody would do that dumb shit. Like who would believe?
That's why I thought it was dope.
Exactly. I was annoyed. It frustrated the shit out of me. And I was like, you fucking idiot, but I know the truth. So I was like, oh my God, this motherfucker, now all hell's gonna break loose. But I didn't know, Mike, that all she had to say was home, 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 and that was it.
I was gonna ask y'all about that.
That was in the first one.
I don't remember that being in the first one, her saying home, home.
That was in
home.
the first one. Yeah. The dead what's her name? Mina, whatever. She said home, home, home.
Who? The dead who?
The girl, the lady, what's her name?
Gina Davis that played Maitland?
Gina Davis. Yeah, she said home, home, home. Yeah.
Huh. I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. She did it in the first one. I just saw it. That's why I saw it right before this one. So that's how I knew. Gotcha. I was like, oh, she used the same thing to get home.
Yeah. All right.
So she probably learned it. She probably learned it from her.
Sure. That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, by the way, the spilling the guts part I thought was fucking hilarious. Even though it was a pretty expected joke, but I thought that was funny as hell when he cut his stomach open.
Yes, they were executed very well, even though you knew it was coming. Yeah.
That shit was funny. So yes, this is where we find out that Jeremy is dead, and Jeremy takes Astrid to the afterlife where he plans to swap her out for him. He has this whole plan of I can leave her here and get this passport signed, and I can go back to Earth and I'm good. But Lydia promises to marry Beetlejuice in order to get the afterlife to save Astrid. Spike, was this a good plan?
I think she was desperate, so it was a desperate plan. It was the only thing that she felt like that she could do. I like to get the kids plan, the guy, and I thought that was brilliant. As far as you get this unsuspecting girl who you can tell is an outcast. I show a little attention, and I get to come back to life. So I like that real slow reveal of just how evil that he really was, and then him leaning into it once she figured it out. So yeah, that was good.
Rod, I feel like you didn't like this part.
No, again, I just felt like they were doing a little too much with this. I did like the story though of him killing his parents and all that stuff, and then like they was telling that simultaneously in this moment of who the guy really was. So I felt that suspense there. So it was cool in theory, but yeah, I just wasn't crazy about him just being a villain when we already have Dolores, technically Beetlejuice too. I mean, and then the ponytail dude, we got all these other people already. I'm like, why do we need this other character? Like, which one are we supposed to be like terrified of? You know what I mean? Like, huh?
I say, yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. That's what bothered me about this. I really liked the angle of Astrid meeting this kid, kind of falling for him. And then we find out he's dead. Not only is he dead, he killed his parents and he's trying to suck her into the afterlife. That could have been the movie. We didn't need Dolores.
Right.
Or if we have Dolores, we don't need Jeremy.
Yes.
We don't need both of them. You know, because like neither one of them were fleshed out.
Right.
I was gonna move on to the next thing, but do we need to wait for Ken?
What happened to him? Yeah.
Don't know.
Let me ask him.
There's not much left, but
yeah, I got you. I just want to make sure he's good.
There he is.
He didn't.
Internet dropped. Yeah, it just dropped.
Oh,
I'm good.
All right, you might see my text.
You didn't miss anything. I was just asking, was it a good plan for Lydia to promise to marry Beetlejuice in order to save Astrid?
No, and this was a small gripe I had with the movie. Repeating what they did in the first one with the whole marriage proposal part. I think using Astrid as a way to get her to do this was cool. But I was like, man, I wonder if there was a way they could do something original. But I think they did a good job of kind of establishing that he still never let his feelings go with her. Right. So the motivations behind it is what he did made sense. But and it didn't fully take away from it. I was like, oh, we doing this again? But it was just a fleeting thought. But nevertheless, it made sense. Like she was desperate. So she was like, my daughter is about to die, and I'll do whatever it takes to save my child, which is a very parenting thing to do.
Yeah. I like the idea. I just knew it was going to go wrong at some point. But real quick, it's around this point where Delia actually dies.
That was funny.
Go ahead, Spike. What did you think?
Oh my God, that was great. That was great. Her doing the little snake thing and doing. I love how she pulled the Karen when she got there, and that's exactly how I feel like that she would have had. Like I ain't even supposed to be here. I need to talk to somebody. Like all of that was real.
She said, I have global entry, Spike. I
thought about B because B always talks about something like
global entry. I like the fact that
my bad. I was confused about something she said later and how she was able to go to the wedding. She said was it the snake bite? Because later she said I died of embarrassment of being scammed.
She was being a smart ass. She died from the snake bite, but she was embarrassed because she thought the snakes were devenomed.
Yeah, and they weren't. Okay, got it.
And they weren't. The guy gave them to her and scammed her.
So crazy.
Because I didn't know she was. When it happened, I didn't even know she was dead until she ended there. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Same. And I cracked up laughing. I was like, "Oh, she died? I thought she just passed out."
Me too.
I
But she
did too.
died? I was like, "Wait a minute, she's dead?" Oh, that shit was funny.
Yeah, I knew they killed her. I was just saying, yeah, it was a good scene. Like you said, she killed it, man. She did a really good job in this, man, and she still looks good too. Like I thought she looked good. Like a lot of people don't age well, but she's aging really well. Like, but yeah, man, I was like, oh yeah, she died, and when she ended up in the afterlife or whatever, she's like, no, no. I'm not supposed to be here. Like, no, like the entitlement goes into the afterlife. Like that's hilarious. Like that was.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tim Burton for that. Like, cause like, yeah, he's like, yeah, we gonna feel entitled no matter where we go. Hell, heaven, we no, look, I am a white woman, privileged. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So yeah, I thought that was a really good note that he put in the movie.
Well, it's funny you bring up white women, because it's around this point. I didn't put this in the notes, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. The Soul Train.
Oh my god.
Oh,
which is, if y'all didn't notice, the only time we see black people. And for those listening that don't know, this has been one of the few regular critiques of Tim Burton's films. Is he does not put black people in his movies, especially as leads.
Oh, so he just threw the middle finger up and was like, "I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna put black people in here, all right."
That's kind of how I felt. Like I was like, wait a minute.
That's what it looked. Now that you say that, that's what it looked like. He was like, "Oh, y'all want black people?
I'm
gonna have them
dance.
dancing and do a Soul Train line."
Yep.
Oh man,
I'm hoping that I'm wrong with this,
because I was wondering where this came from.
Yeah, because it was like that's too obvious of a joke and a bit, but you added it in there, and that's the only time we see black folks, and they're dancing. Woo!
They were getting it too, bro.
Bro, they were getting it, but I was like, "Whoa, really?"
Now that you say that, it makes it sound like this is the only purpose a black person will have in my movie.
That's how it felt. Now again, I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm really, because I loved Tim Burton.
Damn.
I'm really hoping I'm wrong, but I did not like this at all. I was like, "Come on, man! That's the only time you can put us in the film. You got us dancing with afros, really?"
I wish you wouldn't have said that, because I did like this scene.
Because now it really.
Oh wow!
And in the first one, you got he was just a delivery guy. That was the only black person in that one. He was like a servant. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a very obvious bit, Mike. Because as soon as he said it, I was like, "Oh, it's right there." Like you gotta. I felt like you gotta do it. Like if you don't do it, what the hell, or some type of play on it. So. And when it happened, I think because it was like already pre-written, I was like, "Yo, this motherfucker wilding." But now that you added all that, oh man,
yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing about him though.
Yeah,
I'm wondering how he got there. Now that you've added that, I'm wondering, was he thinking, "Okay, they're saying I don't have black people in my movie. How would I get them in there?" And this is the only thing that he could think of.
I'm hoping
that's not it,
Spike. I'm going to say that it was such an obvious bit to do that he just felt like he had to do it. The thing was, when I was looking at the crowd, I was definitely looking for white people.
Yeah,
like I was looking for some type of mix, but I don't know if they got rhythm like that to pull it off. He could have found some. They exist. They're out there.
Yeah, they're out there.
But
my thing is, if he was trying to quell the criticism, he could have made Jeremy black. It wouldn't have been that crazy for her to fall, because she's so weird. It could have been completely expected that she falls in love with this kid, black, white, Asian, whatever. But they could have absolutely made Jeremy and his family black. It was like, why? Look, if you don't want to put black people in your films, fine. It sucks, but fine. But if you're going to, like Spike said, throw the middle finger up at the criticism and make us dancing around with afros and shit, I'd rather you just not put us in there at all. I really didn't like it at all.
I think we would have had an issue with the boyfriend being black too, because he killed his parents.
I would have been fine.
Really?
I wouldn't have had a problem with that. Yeah, because I mean, it wouldn't have been a racist thing, because it's not like black people do that. It's not like we have a whole history of black. That's what I'm saying. So it wouldn't have been like, oh, this is racist. It'd have been like, oh, damn, Jeremy was dead. I wouldn't have had a problem with it.
It's not because of the racist part. I think it just would have been just like it's not believable.
That's racist as fuck, Rod.
It is
That's
racist.
Well,
It's not believable though. Like,
we don't do that. Y'all do that.
I didn't
That's
say
funny.
that. I just said we don't. That's all I said.
I'm moving on. I got about 12, 13 jokes I can lay. I'm moving on. But that is funny as hell. But yeah, so while trying to escape, they end up in that sandy place from the first one, and we see the sandworms again. And which I thought was fucking great. I thought that it was great that they weren't CGI. They were still that shitty ass, stop motion shit. I loved it. But they're saved by Astrid's dad, who I forgot to mention, but earlier we find out that he has died. Or maybe I did mention it, but either way, he saves them. Was this a cute reunion or did y'all not care?
It worked. I did.
Okay.
It worked. I think the payoff worked. They had been mentioning him throughout the movie, how she couldn't see him as a ghost, and then she see him right there stamping the passports. It was a little far-fetched that he would have found them and saved them. I guess he's seen them go out the emergency exit door, but I like the reunion.
Okay.
I mean, it proved that Jeremy wasn't wrong. That you will see your dad. So he definitely delivered. But and I thought it was cool. I mean, for the movie, I think it worked. It was nice to kind of have her see her dad and make peace with that. As corny as it could be, but it worked. It was fine. I don't think it killed the movie.
Yeah, I didn't have no problem with that. I think the only problem I had was the piranhas eating at him or whatever. That just seemed a little unnecessary for me. I didn't like it.
But that was for everybody, though. I didn't realize that in the first one. Like, everybody, kind of the way that they died was still
how they're
just
stuck.
like lingering on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the secretary lady, she had the gunshot wound. DeVoe had the stuff on the side of his head. Like, I didn't pick that up in the first one.
Yeah. I actually thought that's one of the things that's been the funniest about Beetlejuice is like everybody that's dead, like that's how they are. Like shit, that one woman had the big hole through her neck.
Yeah,
the cat lady.
Yeah, the cat lady had
all
the cat that was still eating on her. That shit was funny as hell to me. I thought that was great. And the little fish the whole time. It was just like, come on, man, you gonna do this the whole time you're
right.
here.
It was a little giggly.
It was funny, man. Oh, that shit was funny. And I didn't mention her earlier, but the person that kept bringing Willem Dafoe the cup of coffee so he could like throw it down.
She was funny.
I was crying when he did it like the 5th time. I'm like, bro, y'all serious?
yeah. She was low key funny. Like she was low key funny. Yeah. But we never talked about Bob though. We never talked about Return of Bob. Yeah.
Yeah, we had. Well, I don't know if it's the same guy from the first one because there was a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of sad when Dolores killed Bob. I was like, oh, Bob. Since it was attached to a storyline that didn't fucking go anywhere, I just kind of forgot about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
But and I didn't really care about this reunion either because it was just another thing that y'all just threw in here that didn't really, that wasn't really fleshed out. But when they said earlier that the dude was dead and that Lydia can't see him, I knew they were going to bring it back in some way, shape, or form. But Spike, what'd you think about how Beetlejuice deals with Jeremy?
That was great. Like how he hit the when he snapped the passport and hit the button and sent him to hell, I assume. That was really good. It looked for a split second like Jeremy was going to get away with an out. That was surprising to me. I was like, damn, that was leaning to what you guys said. That really didn't pay off for shit. Like he just came, was a villain, and then left. But I think how Beetlejuice dealt with him was really good.
Said he was shit out of luck.
That was
shit out of luck.
Yeah. No, that was cool. But again, I just think it was just unnecessary to even have him in the first place. So I still was on that. So it was like, while it was cool, it was just like, I still like,
why they do that?
For real, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, okay, it was cool, but who cares?
Yeah.
Like you didn't do anything with this character. You could have made it a lot more tense. I actually would have liked it if he did escape and Astrid was stuck in the afterlife. I think that could have been really interesting. And then they had to figure out a way to get her out. But yeah. So Astrid and Lydia get back to the real world and they race to get to the wedding where Lydia is supposed to be marrying Rory. But Beetlejuice, of course, shows up and he forces Rory to tell the truth about what he was doing, which no one was. That was not a fucking surprise to anybody here, I'm sure. But what did y'all think of the whole wedding with the song and all that stuff? What'd you think of that, Ken?
I liked it. I felt like they were trying to replicate the song from the first movie, that moment. That was the one thing that I thought about it. It felt like it went on a way too long because they did the whole song. But having them, sing every part, sing a different verse from the song here and there. But it's again a very Beetlejuice thing to do because he kind of did a little bit of it in the beginning, earlier parts of the movie when he was stringing the guitar, and I forgot what song he was singing, but it's a well-known song. Yeah.
What song was it? Fuck. Oh,
it was funny.
Heart,
whatever it was funny.
It was hilarious.
Wherever you go, whatever you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be right here waiting for that shit.
That was so good. That was so good.
Yes. So to double back, I was like, and this song was probably a little bit less familiar with people than that song, and of course the other song. But overall, I mean, it fits the theme of what he does, with these movies.
Yep. You agree with that, Spike?
Yep, I like Ken said, it reminded me of the first movie, and us so recently watching it, it's exactly what I thought about. It was really well done. Like you could see the reluctance and people not wanting to do it. I thought all the actors did a really good job. It's like they were forced to sing this, so I think they played out really well too.
Rod,
which part is this? Because I feel like we're talking about a couple different things. Which part?
This is when, when Beetlejuice was forcing her to get married, and they're all doing this song.
Yeah, got you. And what part did where he made the people the congregation go into their phones and stuff? Same part, yeah. That stood out too. I thought that was interesting.
Oh yeah,
but
that was dope.
Yeah. I thought that part was really cool. So just to kind of, I agree with y'all on everything else, but I did want to point out that part that I thought was actually a cool moment as well.
So I thought it looked cool. I didn't necessarily like it.
Which one? The phone thing?
The phone thing. Just because it felt a bit boomer to me. It's like, oh, these people in their phones. All of y'all always staring into your phones. I'm going to suck you into your phone. It was like, come on, dude.
I liked it, though.
Yeah.
I did too.
It looked neat, but I just thought the idea was corny. No, go ahead.
Hey, what? I like it because for that same reason that you don't like it is why I do like it. People don't be in the moment. They always pulling out their phones and things like that. So I do like it actually.
I just liked it because it looked cool.
And it looked cool, yeah. And it looked cool.
It did look cool. It was just the idea.
You like the messaging.
I feel like it's tired. It's like it just felt very much like old people talking about young people. And it was like, I don't need this. It's like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like somebody said something about something being woke at some point in the movie too. And I was just like, dude, what?
And see, I don't even look at it as a young people thing. I just look at it as a people thing. People don't be in the moment. Like, I look at it like that. Like, I don't think it's a young versus old thing.
I think that's the way it was supposed to be presented. Because like if you see that argument happening, it's always older people talking to younger people. It's never younger people talking to other younger people about, hey, put your phone down. It's always positioned as an old person narrative of y'all are never paying attention to what's going on. Get off your phone. I don't know. I don't really think it was necessarily needed, but that's a very small gripe. It didn't piss me off or anything. I wasn't like, God, this is dumb. It was just like, all right, whatever. But so yeah, so we're almost to the end. Wolf Jackson and his cops show up, as well as Dolores shows up. And what do you think about how she was taken out, Rod?
It was cool to have an ode to the original movie, but again, like it made her character useless. It's like, why you built her up this whole time to do absolutely nothing, and y'all just did this with two antagonists, and it just didn't make sense to me. It was
Is
such a
this because
letdown.
is Beetlejuice the villain in this story? Is he supposed to be?
Yes,
He's an
Beetlejuice
anti-hero,
is-
like an anti.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No. You're right. I've
Yeah.
always viewed it as he's a villain, but then he kind of transitions to an anti-hero.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, because he's still doing messed up stuff to people, but he still also is saving people at the same time. Like it's like an anti-hero. So yeah.
Well, those were real people he put in the phone, right? Those were actual
Mhm.
people in attendance to watch the wedding. So yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Mhm.
does messed up stuff. But yeah, I think by this point I realized, or it was a point in maybe halfway through the movie, I was like, oh, Dolores really isn't here for anything except this moment at the end to help figure out how to get this wedding to not go. And she didn't even do that. It was Astrid. So that's what was even more confusing. And then when Beetlejuice paired her up with Justin Theroux, I can't remember his character's name.
Right.
I was like, okay, that's predictable, interesting, but then that was that. Like,
Mhm.
it just they have him die by the worms. I'm like, all right. But I like that they, did use kind of the same, see the same look from the original movie. I thought that was cool.
Oh, speaking of the worms, I did have my question kind of answered that I had for the review we did of the original one. When I was like, is it supposed to be like the Doom worms? And I feel like they expounded on that a little bit more by having the sand tremble.
The worm signs.
Mhm.
Yeah, like how they
Yeah.
do on Doom. So I was like, okay, maybe this is supposed to be like the Doom worms or whatever.
Probably. I just never
Yeah.
thought about it until you said it, but yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I also didn't like that William Dafoe's character fell into the cake. Gosh.
Oh, I thought that was great.
What?
Yeah. I thought it was funny as hell. He jumped through and he thought he was gonna have this badass landing. He fell in the cake. I liked it. I did not like how Dolores and Rory went out for pretty much what Rob said. It was just lame because it was like you have both of these people here that you did nothing with, and then you took them out in a way that we've already seen. So what was the point? Unless you just wanted to say, I have Willem Dafoe because you know he's a draw, and you want to put your wife in this. Other than those two reasons, I can't see why you needed Dolores or Wolf Jackson in this film.
Right.
Unless, which remind me if I forget, but I do have a theory once we get to the end, but we're almost to the end. What did you think of how Lydia, I'm gonna ask Spike this one because I really want to know what his thoughts are. Because I saw some people on Twitter that I was like, what do you think about how Lydia got out of marrying Beetlejuice? And do you think that Lydia did Beetlejuice dirty?
Did she do him dirty? Yeah, because he needed her. She came through for him. And by getting out with a little clause in the contract that we have no idea about, like, I guess it's a taste of his own medicine. As I'm looking at your face, he's a trickster, so it makes sense that he gets tricked. But I still think she did him slightly dirty, though.
Glad I started with Spike. Ken?
No, I don't think she did him dirty. I was actually surprised she was really agreeing to go along with it. But nah, man, it was a clause in the contract. I wish I would have seen the clause. It just kind of seemed like they just found the clause out of nowhere. I didn't see much of that. But nah, I didn't even know that was a discussion that people were having. So I didn't think she did him dirty at all.
Rod, did Lydia do Beetlejuice dirty for promising to marry him and then not doing it?
No, I don't think like kind of was what Spike was saying. He is a trickster and everything, so he just kind of got a taste of his own medicine by being tricked in this situation. So yeah, I think it's fine.
But Lydia didn't know the clause existed, though, right?
No, it's a daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Astrid found it in that book that she was looking at.
So she didn't
It was a good
necessarily
payoff.
trick him, though.
Well, true.
Yeah, she didn't trick him. Yeah, she didn't trick him. You're right. So yeah, that's true. She just unfortunately her daughter found a clause, and yeah, it worked.
And I think it was a good job of her daughter finding it because throughout the movie they expressed how well read that she is. So I thought that was
Okay,
pretty
that's
cool.
a good point too.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So the discussion that was on Twitter was basically that, it was foul that, Lydia let Beetlejuice do all this stuff. And then when she was supposed to marry him, she refused. And I was like, you guys, she never wanted to marry Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is a fucking pedo. 1, he's a creep. 2, and the fact that I'm glad Spike didn't go as hard as he did. These motherfuckers on Twitter, Spike, were going raw on this shit. They were on some like, this is fucked up, this is some feminist whatever, and I was like,
Really?
y'all are basically wanting people to force this woman to marry him.
What do they call those incels? That was an incel.
Yeah.
You stumbled upon incel Twitter.
This was definitely a bunch of angry incels that were like, I mean, she fucking
Women are always
lied to
using
her.
us.
Yeah, she took advantage of him. I'm like, it's fucking Beetlejuice in a movie. What is wrong with you fucking weirdos? But yeah,
That's crazy.
if you get bored, go look around. It's fucking hilarious.
That's wow.
That's
But,
wild.
I did like when she agreed to marry. She was like, "I'm gonna make you so happy."
But yeah, so at this point, Lydia says the name 3 times, and Beetlejuice explodes, and we get the whole I should have got married in Vegas part, which kind of funny, kind of not, don't really care. But this ending I found to be extremely interesting. So we see Delia go down to the afterlife, and she finds Charles, and they go off together. But there's a dream sequence where Lydia quits her show, Astrid gets married, she meets this guy, gets married, she has a kid, and it's the Beetlejuice baby, and then she wakes up. Was this an odd ending, or are they trying to tell us something else, Rod?
Well, not only did she wake up, she woke up to Beetlejuice. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, she woke up twice. So she woke up next to Beetlejuice.
Twice, yes.
And she wakes up again. But yes.
Herself, yeah. That part, it was a very interesting ending. And I don't know exactly what they were trying to say with this ending. So yeah, I did like that actually. I like the fact that we don't know exactly how this is gonna end. So because there is also a possibility of Dolores coming back, right? Because we saw Beetlejuice, get eaten by the sandworm at the end, and now he's back. So there's a possibility of her coming back. I think the boyfriend is actually gone. But yeah, it is interesting. I still hadn't looked into it or anything like that, and haven't really processed what all of that could have possibly meant. But I did think it was interesting, though.
Ken?
I think that they are leaving themselves room for a third movie if this one does well. And I also think, having learned when we covered the first one that there was this big discussion about whether Lydia was alive or dead, which we found out the truth to that, I suppose, with this movie, that she was still alive, that they wanted to keep a conversation going after the movie about whether or not she really married Beetlejuice or not. And I think that's what I gathered from the ending. It was very, very interesting. I was like, why would he choose something that's a little ambiguous like that and not final? So I think he just wanted to leave a little bit of wiggle room for people to have a conversation about, and also to possibly do a third one.
Did you get the same thing, Spike?
I agree. I think that they were just leaving room open, and we know nowadays franchises are the meal ticket for Hollywood. So if they can do a Beetlejuice 3 and find somebody to replace Michael Keaton, which is going to be hard to do, I think they want to leave the door open for that.
I mean, they got to do a Beetlejuice 3. I mean, you got to say the name 3 times. I mean, it makes so much sense.
You're right.
The second that this came out, I was like, this isn't going to be the end, because we all know it's Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. The fact that they called this one Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, I was like, oh, this is just the second one. They're going to do a third.
3, yeah,
that was the only reason why the Dolores thing didn't absolutely piss me off. It irked me.
She'll be back.
She'll be back in the third one, and I have a feeling that in the third one, they're going to make that maybe more of a focal point.
That was the setup. Okay, yeah, that was the setup.
So.
That makes sense.
I think so. That's why I've seen a lot of folks also on Twitter and Reddit being very upset about the whole Dolores thing. This is stupid. And I'm not arguing. It was kind of stupid, unless the theory is correct that they're going to bring her back in the third film. So I do think that within the next year or two, we're going to have a Beetlejuice, 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 and it's going to be focused on Dolores coming back and wreaking havoc.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And the way that she died by the snake that Rod mentioned earlier, like we seen Beetlejuice come back from that. So
and it's performing well at the box office, so it's made money. It made the money back
easily. I think this movie is great. If you just walk into it, you sit down and you like, I want to be in this world and have a good time. When you start picking things apart, being like, well, this story is not fleshed out. Either is this story, then you start getting irritated. I didn't get irritated until the movie was over. I was like, why did we need Dolores? Why did we need Jeremy? Why did we need Wolf? You didn't have to do any of this, until I thought about it. And I was like, I guarantee there's going to be a third one. If they do a third one and they bring Dolores back and they make that the focal point of Dolores is now really mad and she's out to get Beetlejuice, and now Beetlejuice needs Lydia and Astrid's help as opposed to the other way around, then I think that this could actually be a great ending for this movie and this world.
Yeah, because I don't even know if she married that guy or not. You know, Astrid. Because as soon as they started making eyes with each other, I was like, you better make sure that motherfucker real.
I think all of that was fake. I think all of that was fake, because she met this guy, then like the next scene they're getting married. I think all of that was just the dream sequence. And earlier, Beetlejuice actually says, I love a good dream sequence.
He did.
So I think all of this stuff is leading up to there being a third film. So last question for the evening. Ken, are you here for a third Beetlejuice movie?
Yeah, I am. I wasn't disappointed with this one. You know, and I think they can pull off a third one. I definitely think it would be smart to end with that one. But and honestly, I would like to see him go take it a little bit further. And then also, how about we not add black people that's only there to dance? Like, you know, you've done that. I'm not saying I'm gonna give you a pass with that one, because I understood the joke, but hearing the criticism now, like, okay, now you need to kind of, you know, fix that a little bit. Even though I felt like adding Jenna Ortega with some color here that he tried to do, but you know, you didn't think so?
Nah, he just added her because he already worked with her. He worked with her on Wednesday.
Oh shit, never mind then.
And she ain't enough color. She's damn near white, dog. And I'm not trying to be racist, but I'm saying like from a viewpoint standpoint, because it's not like Winona Ryder is any kind of Latina or Latin, or I can't remember what the actual term is. Sorry, I know they use Latinx, but I don't think Hispanic. Thank you.
She's not white.
No. I'm saying I don't think Winona Ryder is Hispanic or any kind of non-white. So it wouldn't really make sense for her to have a daughter of color. So I think we're supposed to kind of just assume that Astrid is white because it's not like her dad looked any kind
Yeah,
of
her
brown.
dad. No, her dad was brown.
He was dead and just colored. Was he supposed to be?
Didn't they
was
mention him being from Brazil
No,
or something like that?
Yeah, they showed him. They showed him when he wasn't dead. They showed like they had photos of him. Remember, she found the box with Richard, and they were going through pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. But he was supposed to be not white.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, I don't think he was white.
Brazilian.
Oh,
Brazilian or something like
okay. I take everything I said back. Maybe that was his idea of a splash of color. He looked white to me, even in that picture. Even from Brazil, he looked white. But okay, alrighty. Anyway, okay. So Ken's here for it, Spike.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Y'all changed my mind on Beetlejuice. I enjoyed this one, like I said, more than the first one. This one was a little less goofy. I like the plot lines and the twist in this one, so I was enjoying that part of it, which will make me think I'd enjoy 3. So I'm here for it.
Same for you, Rod.
Yeah, I like this one for the most part. And I know from the review it seems like I don't like it, but I did actually like it. I'm just not giving it as much grace on some of the stuff that I think they could have did better. So I think it's definitely room for improvement. And like Ken, I hope they do take note of people's gripes on this one and do that improvement for the third one. I think they could really kill this third one if they really go that route with it. Yeah, I might have jumped out the window just slightly saying this is better than the original, but I think it was just the overall production of it and the way they were trying to expound on the story seemed better than the first one for me. I was just like, dang, they really improved on some things. Because even the sandworm stuff, right? It was still like original, but it looked better. It looked a little better than what the other one did or whatnot. It wasn't the same exact stuff, but I don't know. It was just little notes that I picked up on that just seemed like improvements.
And for the record, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like I said in the beginning, the same way I feel about Star Wars. Like Star Wars story, all that stuff is cool. It pulls at the heartstrings, but I definitely like how they do fighting and the graphic is better in the new ones. I'm gonna stand by that for forever.
Richard Astrid's dad was played by Santiago Cabrera, who was Venezuelan.
All right.
Gotcha. There you go.
All right. Well,
there you go.
If that's, I hate to say it, but if that was his idea of throwing in some color, I'm still not here for it. Sorry. It's great that you're being diverse, but if the criticism is you don't put black people in your films and you say, okay, well, I'll throw this Venezuelan guy and an Hispanic woman, that's not really answering the criticism, in my opinion. I do agree with Ken. If you are gonna add black folks, please don't do this fucking Soul Train shit again. I'm not gonna say it's offensive, but it's not cool. I didn't enjoy it. But I am here for a third one. I will be more than happy to go see a third one. I had fun with this movie. I did have some problems with it. I think those problems could be fixed in the next one. But yeah, overall, I thought it was cool. I had a lot of fun. I laughed out loud at quite a few parts. So yeah, let's do a third one. But I'm going to end it there. And yeah, let us know what y'all thought. Send us some messages on Twitter and all that good shit. And we'll see y'all in the next review. Peace.
Peace.